who's coming next. Trump tells Jonathan Karl he had successors in mind after the strikes on Iran, but they were all killed in the initial strike. So apparently there were 2 rooms at the Ayatollah's compound, and like the moderates were in one room, and then the Ayatollah and I guess his family and some other people were in another room, and the strikes killed all of them. Right. So there were some moderates. They're gone now. So Donnie keeps saying, well, I had someone in mind, but they're all dead now, so we'll have to come up with somebody else.
It's called the Smoke and Hat Podcast.
Who's going to win this battle of the lumberjacks?
Yeah, controversy is just good.
By no account is any of this true.
International politics.
Oh, but
you have to be aware of the optics.
You gotta be aware. And like, dude,
I don't really wash my hands ever.
We lost a significant amount of our deposit.
Those who have perpetrated this hoax.
History.
The young Turks, probably the old Turks by now.
Three coups a decade or something. But
there's actually rules against me being involved in domestic politics.
And anything else that grabs them.
You guys know that Eric Adams is the mayor
currently? Yeah.
Donald J. Trump, he's got nothing to hide.
They don't know what they're doing.
You're like, oh, okay, that tracks a little bit better.
Okay, I gotta remember that.
We sure hope you enjoy it.
What about you?
Down here? Yeah, it was 80 degrees today, which was great.
Yeah.
And I biked, but the river was frozen 4 weeks ago, like frozen. Yeah. So right on the water where the bike path is 15 degrees cooler than like 100 feet to the left. It was crazy. I was like very cold, and then I turned in slightly and I was hot.
Yeah.
So the water's got to be like 50 degrees if it's that much.
It's like a giant ice cube.
Yeah, it's crazy. But today was lovely. It was the earliest 80-degree day in New York history.
Yeah.
After like the coldest winter in 50 years.
Yep.
So we're just going up and down.
Yeah. Who knows? You know.
I'm sure everything's fine.
Yeah. It's just a blip.
Just a blip. It'll pass. Come on. Yeah. No, we're good.
You take the city bikes?
City bike down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. They're
That's
working
cool.
pretty well.
They'll probably only get better, but it's just, I see the efficiency, but like if I had a case for like an urban bike, I would love to. I used to have one of those Brompton folding bicycles. Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're kind of pricey but then you realize how well they work for what they do. And you're like, wow. I used to bike commute like 7 miles each way on one.
Yeah.
Looks like a clown bike, but they work well. There's so many different things you can do for a bike, but then you have to own a bike and deal with that. So
a lot of people do have there's a new fad on the back of the bike. There's a little manger almost. It's like a seat with bars on either side, and the kids ride behind you.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Upper West Side parents commute around that.
On their rad bikes.
I'm not taking the kids on these streets, man. I couldn't live with myself. Yeah.
Well, I get it. Plus those things are, I remember when I lived in DC, there's probably, I don't know what the cheap ones are, but those nice ones you get a cheap car for.
Right. The nice ones are a couple G's, right? Like they're
and they're really expensive. So what do? You lock them up outside, and that's really worth somebody putting some time in at 3 a.m. with a battery powered angle grinder to steal from you.
So when I leave Midtown tonight, I'll get on the subway, and all the delivery drivers will be leaving for the night. But they must leave their bikes somewhere else, but they carry their batteries with them.
Yeah.
So there's just tons of guys going uptown to the Bronx or going to Upper Manhattan, and they're just holding that big block battery.
Yeah, because those bikes are like disposable garbage.
100%.
It's the big lithium ion battery that counts for anything.
Yeah. But I worry about the fires with those, and I've had several people. I had the scooter for a little while, and I had 2 people in my building say, "You better not burn this building down." And that just kind of echoed in my head, where I was like, I don't think I'm going to burn the building down, but I don't know. And I know that occasionally happens, but I don't think it's common. But I know it has happened. So yeah, I gave my scooter away and I'm just doing the city and I just dump it. There's a station 100 feet from my front door. And then there's a station just at the end of the block. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But you pay $250 a year and then $5 a ride, essentially. I think I did 84 rides last year. So it's like, what, $600 ish for the year. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's convenient. I don't have to worry about the bikes at all. So that's good.
No, and that's the whole point. It's just like, from a bike nerd perspective, it's like, oh man, I could come up with like 3 different bikes I would own for
Really?
yeah,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. It's
I'd
cool.
have like
App tracks your data and it gives you
Yeah.
like points and scores and like your most common used station. And it's interesting to look at one time and then you're like, okay,
Yep.
cool. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, no, you say that. You are not the type of autist who's like tries
I
to
know.
set a record
there's-
for.
There's games. I was in the top 10% of all riders in New York City last year.
Oh, there you go.
And I really only started in May. So maybe this year I'll move up. But yeah, it's a good thing. I like it.
Now it's great.
I was supposed to interview Amjad today about his book, but Amjad is down with a sore throat. He's lost his voice. So we're going to try again next week.
From preaching, so I'm trying to.
I think working in a date farm. I mean, you got to know, right? You got to storm down in the valley and
Or I was going to say from yelling at his Egyptian laborers.
cut that.
He's not getting up the ladder, shaking the tree.
Yeah. No, there's a great photo of him and his brother at the end of his book, standing in his what do you call it, a vineyard? No, his
Orchard.
grove, maybe orchard. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, orchard. And yeah, it's him. He's got like a little bucket hat on, and he's in his orchard. It's lovely. So, yeah.
Well, all right. Bummer. We'll get him next time.
Yeah. Anyway, so you been keeping up on our war?
Yeah, we won. We're winning.
Yeah, we won. I heard we won.
Dude, it's great.
Yeah, no, everything's going fine. All right, so this is our highest news story count by far because I put together stuff for last week, but then this week happened. So I think I have like 20 some odd items here. Let me just go full screen. Okay, so you may recall, we may have podcasted about this right at the beginning of the podcast. I don't know. But last summer, we obliterated. Oh, no, don't do me like that. Remind me later. We obliterated Iran's nuclear program.
Right, yeah, we took it out. So
we took it out.
One and done, yeah.
Obliterated, it means like really blew up.
And
good, right?
check, yes.
Yeah, and then Donnie brought this up at the State of the Union. Did we talk about that? I don't remember. But anyway, here's
what we talked about.
Yeah.
What we talked about at the State of the Union, and this is kind of curious, was that he said nothing about Iran, which we thought meant, my NPR listening take, the regurgitated take was that like, well, I guess he doesn't want to do anything stupid or talk about anything stupid.
Are you a donor?
No.
You're not? I know.
And I might have been at one point. There's a lot more things that could use money than the local MPB affiliate, but they have been making cuts to their programming. They don't get a lot. Like they don't get the what's the
all
market
things considered, what have you?
I don't know. They've got a 2-hour block of music that they do twice a day now, I think.
Oh no. Okay.
Because one of the main producers, he's like an amateur DJ guy, and like I don't know, man. And they doubled the length of their gardening show, which is probably their most popular show.
No way.
Yeah. So their MPB is hurting. They don't have a lot, and they've been. I mean, if you care to know any of this, they've been.
I do.
Trying to churn out some like homebrew local stuff, and like it just doesn't. The gardening show sticks, and then the home improvement show, the kind of dissolute housey thing, has stuck, and like that's kind of. I think they've got something about creature comforts about like local wildlife animals. That's been around. They tried a
A
tech
lot of
show.
original programming. It's pretty
Well,
good.
but they've got like a block that kind of fills up the 9 to 5. But they got rid of what was the big thing? Kai Rizal. What do they call that? Not that.
Yeah, market. No, market. Planet Money.
No, money market something market.
Money place, marketplace, morning.
Marketplace. They got rid of. They cut marketplace, which has made Jordan really angry because she likes that.
I like
The-
the
the-
marketplace morning report on Morning Edition. Always
Yeah.
7:50 a.m. Catch
Yeah,
it
you know
before you
they're wrapping it up when you get there. They've cut a bunch of that stuff. So they have very little. So what they do have is the gardening thing. They've got like 3 different shows about like personal health, like for for children, for like adults, something about financial planning. They've spun off a bunch of stuff that hasn't stuck. A tech show, that did not last long. It was like these guys want to talk about anything of you interesting, and they just kept getting people being like, I'm 85 and I can't get in my computer.
I can't open my email. Yeah. I found out my mother still uses her AOL account.
Well, sure, why not?
Yeah. And then I'm on this group tenant thing for my building, and there's a lot of Yahoo email addresses on the list. And I was like, wow, people are using Yahoo Mail. Amazing.
Well, I guess that I wonder if you can port Yahoo over to a Gmail client or something, because it's not surprising. Yeah.
I don't think anyone who uses Yahoo Mail knows what that means.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
My email, but I would have changed the interface. I'm like, you should just make a Gmail.
Every time I see those emails, I've thought, oh, I get it. Like, it would be a hassle to change your email, but I haven't thought, oh, but it would also be a hassle to use any of those.
Right. I heard that when AOL sold itself to, who'd they sell themselves to? It was like Huffington Post and AOL and maybe Time Warner or something, that the value of AOL was the fact that maybe 10 years ago, they still had 25 million email users. And everyone was like, what is AOL at this point? And they're like, it's a bunch of elderly people's emails, and that's valuable.
Sure.
So, yep. Okay. Anyway. Oh, NPR. Okay. So I was listening to it, and in New York, they shake you down, and then they call out the Upper East Side, Upper West Side money people. So they're like, okay, all you regular people, you donate 25 or 50 or whatever you can afford.
Not enough.
I know there's some people in this audience, and it might sound crazy, but they could donate $50,000. They could do it. And I know they're listening right now. And they like talk to them directly. And they're like, I'm not talking to you regular people. Don't be offended. But I know someone out there has $50,000 they can give us, and they should. And we want it. And then if you're also a regular person, donate 25 recurring, and we'll send you the coffee. But if you got 50 grand, you should give it to us right now. Like, wow, this is a hard sell. The DC funding cuts.
The DC one used to be like that. I don't think MPB is getting much from its listenership to begin with, so it's like they can't tap
it's a tough racket. You got to pay. I didn't realize they pay into Morning Edition. They pay.
Yeah.
All things considered.
You got to buy it. And I think MPB, to whatever extent MPB had money, it was, I don't know, from grants or something, because they don't shake down us. Anyways, when we were there, and the received wisdom from NPR had been like, well, I guess that means nothing's going to happen. Nothing means nothing. And that analyst was wrong.
Yeah. But I like those little local original shows. When I was in Denver, they had a Colorado politics show every day called Colorado Matters. And it was really good. They would get like the obscure guy from the mountains who's doing the crazy thing and bring him on, and people would call in. And I wasn't really that steeped in Colorado politics, but you can learn a lot by just listening to it wasn't that many people. There were probably 4 or 5 people working for the show, but like, it's pretty good.
Well, lest we forget the original podcast, Car Talk.
Car Talk. Click and Clack.
Car Talk. Yeah, the Tapper Brothers. That was a Boston WBUR, Boston Public Radio show
with an incredible appearance in the film Cars. Did you ever
Was
see
that
it?
one? I have not. Was that when both of them were still alive?
They were both alive, and they
Oh.
owned the low-end sponsor for Lightning McQueen called Rusty's Bumper Restorer.
That's
And
great.
Lightning McQueen was offended that he didn't have the big oil company sponsoring him, and he resented that he had to deal with all of these auto mechanic type cars that were run down.
Yeah.
And, yeah. They had it's like all Pixar films. There was a dirty joke in there. I'm trying to remember. It's like, oh, I couldn't see the headlights coming down the highway, and it's like, that's because you had too many sips of motor oil before you left the bar. And it was like, it's a DUI joke. I like it.
Yeah.
So the kids miss it, and then if you're not paying attention, you're like, wait, what he said? It's good. So anyway, NPR shaking us down. Okay, here's Donnie look at him. He's really fired up here. Talking about obliterating the Iranian nuclear program at the State of the Union.
No audio on my end.
Ugh,
I know that's a
forgive
real
me.
letdown.
Get Rusty. We need Rusty's bumper oil. It's all right. We're just getting our feet back under us here. All right, we can do things. I'm smart. I can do things. Okay, here we go. We're going to add to state. Now, hang on. We got problems. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Don't worry, we're going to fix all this in post. The intern has been fired. All right. This should work now. Nope. Hang on. The intern has been fired again. That's the one. There's Donnie.
There we go.
There he is. Okay, let's hear from Donnie, State of the Union. We'll go back because this is very compelling.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always...
Americans famously not used to winning.
And I said, no.
Part of our national identity.
It's great. It's great to know he's not using speechwriters.
Yeah.
You know, that this is this is
You
from the
gotta
heart.
give him that. There is no chat GPT here. This is all springing forth from that brain that we have all been studying for the last 10 years in detail. It's like, no, this is a Donnie original. Look at this. I mean, look at what is happening here. And then what's going on here? What did Mike Johnson do with this? This is kind of an odd visual. A little bit of a limp microphone there. I don't want to overthink that. But all right.
To prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Okay, so he brought in the hockey team. This is not the Obliterated clip. This was just our warm-up to get us fired up to be Americans because we won gold in hockey. Okay, here's Donnie talking about Iran being obliterated.
And I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success.
Great.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Completely.
That the American strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities has set back Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons for many years to come. The nuclear threat of Iran, that was totally obliterated. Iran, where we wiped out their nuclear capacity for weapons. They totally obliterated the potential nuclear supply of Iran. In June, we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity.
January 22nd.
I ordered devastating strikes on Iran's key nuclear facilities and achieving total obliteration of the Iran nuclear potential capability, totally obliterated.
All right, now let me say this. I don't know if I gave enough credit at the time. Had he done that with very minimal, maybe no civilian casualties, perhaps some defenders of those facilities were killed, tragically, of course, but, you know, it's a nuclear program they're not supposed to have. If that happened, Tremendous job, Donnie. So are we done? James,
Right.
is the podcast over? Are we done? Can we go home now? No, we can't. All right, let's take a look. What happened next? Let's see. Okay, so they were having meetings in Oman.
Well, maybe the Israelis just figured out some new ones that Donnie didn't know about. I mean, you're assuming he's they're like,
Maybe
wait, Donald.
Maybe they should tell us that.
Donald, well, maybe they were holding out.
Yeah, I don't know why they would hide that. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't seem like a guy who hides a lot of, well, that's not true. He does hide a lot of stuff, but something like that he wouldn't hide. Okay, so we're doing the Oman thing. Oman being what, the Switzerland of the Middle East?
Yeah.
Did you ever get involved in the Sultan Qaboos racket?
No, I mean, no, he was around. Yeah, I probably applied for some.
It was free.
Yeah,
if you
go
could get
study it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I definitely applied to things with that name on it.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, go to Muscat and study Arabic for a while.
And I think at some point someone told me it was too boring, and I'm like, too boring to learn Arabic for free in Oman?
Yeah.
In hindsight, I probably made a mistake. I don't think I got it, or I don't know if I filled it out. I think I ended up going to AUB. But anyway, here's the Omani foreign minister. Which if you're thinking about it, are diametrically opposed experiences. Learn a lot of Arabic in Muscat, or learn no Arabic in Beirut. When I learned the culture, I can't remember. I was swimming a lot. I was swimming in the Mediterranean off of a concrete pier a lot. Okay, so here's the Omani foreign minister. This is the day after. So we struck Iran. I think I jumped ahead here a day, but we hit Saturday night or maybe Friday night. This is Sunday morning. Here's the Omani foreign minister explaining how the negotiations were going with Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner.
To you that they have never done before. Can you give us any sense?
The single most important achievement, I believe, is the agreement that Iran will never, ever have a nuclear material that will create a bomb. And this is, I think, a big achievement. This is something that is not in the old deal that was negotiated during President Obama's time. This is something completely new. It really makes the enrichment argument less relevant, because now we are talking about zero stockpiling. And that is very, very important, because if you cannot stockpile material that is enriched, then there is no way you can actually create a bomb, whether you enrich or don't enrich. And I think this is really something that has been missed a lot by the media, and I want to clarify that from the standpoint of a mediator.
So
this is important. He's describing the deal that was on the table just before we attacked them.
Yeah, I get it.
And it sounds like
that's great logic.
It sounds like they were in for what I've heard.
He's like, but then
a better deal than the JCPOA, better deal than Obama got.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that Kushner and Witkoff didn't understand what it meant. And I think this Omani guy flew to America and was like, they don't know. I have to go on TV and try to explain to these people what was on the table. Let's see, Margaret Brennan, I think, is still confused, but is trying to figure out what he said.
Explain that. So the enriched material, the things that could be used as nuclear fuel for a bomb, you're saying Iran would not keep on their own soil?
They would give it up.
They would give it up?
They will not be able to actually accumulate that material that will enable them to create a bomb. There's no accumulation. So there will be zero accumulation, zero stockpiling, and full verification. That is also equally important achievement, I think. Full and comprehensive verification by the IAEA, which is the agency in charge of this file.
The UN nuclear watchdog. So you're saying all enriched material would be shipped someplace else, not Russia, but...
No. The current stockpiles that still exist.
The things that are still in Iran.
I think that there is agreement now that this will be I downblend it to the lowest level possible.
It's okay.
Anyway, I think it gets to the point, to the fact that nobody knows what they're talking about on our end. And I think this Omani man wants us to know that there was a really good deal on the table, and we walked away from it. Okay, that was the first. So we'll get to a lot of explanations as to why we're at war right now. Here's the first one. Marco conveyed to the Gang of Eight, the U.S. decided to choose to strike Iran because Israel had already decided to strike beforehand, which is cool. Now, Marco said this, and as you might imagine, Marco got in trouble for saying this. So then Marco went out the next day. I think this is the video. Here we go.
Measure a defensive operation. And why is that? I took some notes, and this is not classified, so I'll tell you what I think is important. Israel was determined to act in their own defense here, with or without American support. Why? Because Israel faced what they deemed to be an existential threat. Iran was building missiles at a radical and a rapid clip to the point where our allies in the region could not keep up. As you know, Iran has long vowed to take out Israel, wipe it off the map, and they have long seen that as a critical threat to their very existence. Because Israel was determined to act with or without the U.S., our commander-in-chief and the administration and the officials I just named had a very difficult decision to make. They had to evaluate the threats to the U.S., to our troops, to our installations, to our assets in the region and beyond. And they determined, because of the exquisite intelligence that we had, that if Israel fired upon Iran and took action against Iran to take out the missiles, then they would have immediately retaliated against U.S. personnel and assets. We have troops in harm's way, and we have many Americans in the region, and that was of a great concern. If we had waited for all of those eventualities to take place, the consequences of inaction on our part could have been devastating. We don't know at what magnitude, but you can assume, because it is common sense, that if Iran had begun to fire all of their missile arsenal, short and mid-range missiles, at our personnel and our assets and our installations, we would have suffered staggering losses. And if we had waited to respond before acting first, then those losses would have been far greater than if we had done what we did. To me...
Okay, so I don't know what he's saying. He's saying Israel had to attack the missiles, and if Israel did that without us, we would have gotten bombed. But that is what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I think back to the last 20 years, like the first time I read that Mearsheimer plus the other dude, the Israel lobby.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Stephen Walt.
Stephen Walt.
Nope, not Dick Walt. Yeah, different guy.
Michael Walt, Stephen Walt. Yeah, Stephen Walt. If you talked about that kind of stuff too loud, people thought you were crazy. They thought you were insane. Like, oh, Israel is controlling our foreign policy. This is the defense secretary, the Secretary of State and the Speaker of the House saying, because Israel was going to do something, we had to do something. This is beyond anything I could imagine.
Yeah.
And of course, once they realized what they said.
Well, and it's like you're still not supposed to say they are, forgive the euphemism, saying the quiet part out loud and getting in trouble for it. Because
we're bombing them not because of nuclear materials, but because of their missile capacity, which isn't a nuclear thing. And people can have missiles. It seems like the last 2 times Iran has fired missiles at Israel, it was days after Israel bombed them significantly. I haven't seen Iran fire missiles first. Is that fair? I don't know if that's fair.
Well, people would complain. People would say that
Hezbollah would.
Well, yeah, they do it via proxies, or the Houthis do, or
the Houthis do. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, I suppose. But okay, so we're going to war, I guess, because of rockets and missiles that are aimed at Israel, non-nuclear missiles, just missiles. Okay. Then we got into, so that kind of got kicked under the rug. Everybody got mad. Here's Pete Hegseth talking about regime change. So at this point in the proceedings, we have killed Ayatollah Khamenei, and we don't know yet that his son will become the next one. But here's Pete Hegseth, December 6th.
Will not be distracted by democracy building, interventionism, undefined wars, regime change, climate change, woke moralizing, and feckless nation building.
Those things all go together. Regime change, nation building, woke moralizing. You're like, wait, what? That's a bucket? Okay, so we're not going to do any regime change. Or that was the position as of December. Now we're moving on here. Regime change is secondary.
Afghanistan.
Do you and the president care who runs the country now? Or you just kind of sit back and kind of shape it from the sea, in the air?
Well, I guess, Jesse, in a perfect world, yeah, we would love it if somebody came to power in Iran who was willing to work with the United States, who was willing to show some respect to the United States, and again, most importantly, made that long-term commitment that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. But ultimately, Jesse, whatever happens with the regime in one form or another, it's incidental to the president's primary objective here, which is to make sure the Iranian terrorist regime does not build a nuclear bomb. So, there are a lot of things that could happen with the regime. Obviously, the president and I would prefer.
So we're jumping around.
Yeah.
Not necessarily we want the nuclear thing, but the nuclear thing was dealt with. We want to get rid of the rocket threat to Israel. Okay, threat, not the regime, yada, yada, yada. Okay, here's Donnie, because everyone got all upset, saying that Israel forced our hand to go to war. Here's Donnie responding to that. And you could just count on Donnie to say the opposite of whatever the thing he doesn't like is.
Don't force your hand to launch these strikes against the wrong people.
No,
it's not what happened. I forced their hand.
You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about it.
Attack who?
We have great negotiators, great people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successfully.
Steve Witkoff?
Based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready.
And then they surprised us.
Powerful impact because virtually everything they have has been knocked out now.
Okay.
So it's all over, and oil's back, and free trade is reigning, and
everything's fine. Okay, so
formulas.
I'm reading Amjad's book, and he's got the whole "I found curveball" thing. So curveball was the guy who gave the intelligence to the Germans that there was a nuclear weapons plant that turned out to be a seed plant because they ran out of food, and they had all these nuclear scientists, and they decommissioned the nuclear plants in the 90s. And they took all these like nuclear scientists and said, we need these seeds to grow. So they had nuclear scientists working at a seed plant to make the seeds better. And I think it worked or something. There was a guy who turned out to be dumb, who fled to Germany and then wanted asylum. So he started saying all this shit. There's a nuclear plant you guys don't know about, and Amjad found him in a very funny story that involves like Ayman Qadi on the phone with this guy, like saying, Amjad's too busy right now. It's a delight. It's great. And they find him, and they meet all the other nuclear scientists who are like scattered across the Middle East, and they're like, that guy? No, that guy's a moron. And they found like his transcripts, and he was getting like 50s and 60s in math classes, and it's a great story. But when you think about Colin Powell, like the lengths he went to build a narrative on faulty intelligence, as it turned out, but there was intelligence. The guy was lying, and it's hard to vet that, yada, yada, yada. And then this is just like, I don't know, man.
Vibes.
Doing it.
Yeah, it's
vibes. was on a heater. Did you see the Maduro thing? I was on a heater. And, gotta walk away from the table sometimes, Donnie. Okay, so anyway, we forced Israel's hand. Now, the Ayatollah is dead. Who's coming next? Trump tells Jonathan Karl he had successors in mind after the strikes on Iran, but they were all killed in the initial strike. So apparently there were 2 rooms at the Ayatollah's compound, and like the moderates were in one room, and then the Ayatollah and I guess his family and some other people were in another room, and the strikes killed all of them. Right. So there were some moderates. They're gone now. So Donnie keeps saying, well, I had someone in mind, but they're all dead now. So we'll have to come up with somebody else. Okay, so then this business...
Which is funny because that's the type of thing that in the Iraq War would have been like a scoop. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That somebody would have had... We would have like not... We would have worked pretty hard to keep that hush, and would have come out in like a, in
a book.
A book 5 years.
Later.
Yeah. Like, we accidentally killed all the Iraqis that we wanted to...
I killed them. Yeah, they're dead. Yeah. I killed them all. Sorry. So the successors are all killed. The war is raging, as we've all seen. They're shooting rockets at everything. Then this business around a missile shortage came out, or an interceptor.
That's interceptors.
Right. Okay. So here's Mark.
They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have.
Okay,
so that's a math, that's a calculus we lose. I don't know why you're broadcasting it.
Right. So the math is not mathing here. These one-way.
So we've moved in. We've moved in the THAADs from
Korea.
Korea, yeah, because
there are no more THAADs in Korea. I mean, if you are in China right now, you are just sitting there going, I can't believe our luck, dude. I can't believe it. Yeah, the Koreans have no THAAD things there. Okay, these drones that they're making cost, I heard somebody say $20,000.
The Shahed drones are like
right.
super low cost compared to everything that costs to shoot one down.
Right. A Patriot missile is like $1 million. So you're losing, $670,000 on every transaction in the air. So we're speed running the Ukraine.
And what I've Jordan and I were talking about this, but it's not just how much they cost, because we can bear the cost. It's like the physical, the manufacturing bottleneck is we can't produce them. It's not just that we can't pay for them, because we could pay for them if we wanted to, presumably.
Yeah,
it's that there currently doesn't exist the manufacturing capacity to make more of them.
We're doing just-in-time manufacturing instead of grocery stores. It's for Patriot missiles. So we're just like, all right, I need 4 this month. Get them on time. It's like, this is going to be tricky if out of nowhere we suddenly are at war with a country that's going to shoot a lot of rockets. Seems like you might have wanted to fortify. I think your first-year grad student at Tufts could have predicted maybe how this was going to go down. But then Donnie got word of this and wanted us to know the munition stockpiles have at the medium and upper medium grade never been higher or better. I don't know what that means exactly. Wars can be fought, quote unquote, forever, and very successfully using these supplies. They're better than other countries' finest arms. At the highest end, we have a good supply, but we're not where we want to be. Yada, yada. Sleepy Joe spent all his time and our country's money giving everything to P.T. Barnum. Zelensky, just out of the blue, just dig Zelensky. Like, we need Zelensky's help on how to shoot down drones, and you just ding him with P.T. Barnum.
Yeah.
Do you think the Ukrainians were... somebody in Kyiv is like Googling, who?
Yeah, what?
There was a circus man in New York 100 years ago, and Donnie loves this stuff, so you are like the circus man. Okay, hundreds of billions of dollars, yada, yada, yada. I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so. Great, okay. Then Dubai getting bombed. I think this is a British... Oh, the guy deleted it, darn. It was a British influencer describing how life has changed for British influencers in Dubai. And he's like,
Oh,
he's like, a British
yeah.
guy. He's like, you can't get a bit of work done. You're worried about all the rockets coming. You can't sit by the pool. You can't have a drink. It's not what we signed up for.
Yeah.
Very upset, leisurely British tech worker.
Yeah, there's like a whole sideshow of a war about like Westerners gallivanting and like the right to live a consequence-free life in the Gulf if you're
As I'm in a
Westerner
tax
with a fake
haven.
job. Yeah.
Yes, avoiding the exchequer who's been taking me monies for too long. I've gone to Dubai. There was a story, the golf tour that's sponsored by Saudi Arabia that has picked off a fair amount of significant golfers, but it's kind of struggling now. But their players are all, for the most part, based in Dubai to avoid European taxes. And they had a big event in Hong Kong. The war kicked off and all these guys were stuck. And there was a story of 30 plus millionaire golfers getting to as in they have $30 million. They're like 8 golfers. And they had to get to the Omani border, and a personal private jet had been chartered for them, and they escaped the Middle East to get to Hong Kong to play for a $25 million purse. Then you're like, I don't know if that's a good story. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I'm glad they're okay, but is it a sign of heroism that they just fired the money gun at escaping Dubai? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, things are not good in the Gulf. How about this one? The Kuwaiti ace. We have not gotten enough follow-up on this guy. Did you see all this?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Wait, the friendly fire?
Yeah. So the F-15 had never been shot down in combat. It was 107-0 or something. And people have shirts that say F-15 107-0.
Yeah.
And an F-18 pilot, a Kuwaiti F-18 pilot, took out 3 F-15s in a morning. Mm-hmm. And everyone's safely ejected, thank God.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. But it seems like it's not exactly the regular combat simulation circumstances if the guy shooting at you is pegged on your flight system is friendly.
Well, right, but how was he pegged on the Kuwaiti flight system? You feel like, again, with a bit of coordination, bit of preparation, we're quite lucky these people were not killed, thank God.
Yeah. But
when you jump into a war, the Kuwaiti ace, and you need 5 kills to become an ace.
Yeah.
2 away.
Okay.
Same person got 3.
Yeah.
First, there's one human on Earth who's ever shot down an F-15, and they got 3. So there you go. There's a fella on Barstool. Are you familiar with PFT?
Yeah.
Okay, so PFT is a lunatic. I mean, I like him, but he has a major flight simulator at his house.
Sure.
And he reenacted this to see if it was possible.
I'm sure he and 100 other dudes are like this. Fuck, they love this stuff, man. That's all.
He had the goggles on and he live streamed it and he shut down 3. And then he had the shirt that said 107-0 and he crossed out the 0 and wrote 3 on it. It was pretty good. So anyway, okay. So you can shoot down an F-15. You just got to be on the same team and sort of trick them, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get a hat trick if, what do you call it? 3.
Okay. I'm
3 own goals.
But okay, so I don't understand how it works. I've seen Top Gun. But okay, if they're behind me, do you shoot flare? You get the ping in your headset is my understanding. Something starts beeping. I don't know. But anyway, so
I bet there's going to be some pretty interesting YouTube videos explaining how this could happen in a few years. But yeah, that did.
Anyway, okay, turning to sadder news, our first initial strike seems to have taken out a girls' school where this is the funeral or the mourning procession. And it says 150. It's definitely over 100 students killed at this school. Now, Donnie, let's see. Donnie got a question about this yesterday. And it was probably the most direct question I've ever seen Donnie get in the 10 years of our adventure with Donnie. So listen to this.
You just suggested that Iran somehow got its hands on a tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation. But tomahawks are used by others, as you know. Numerous other nations have tomahawks. They buy them from us. But I will certainly, whatever the report shows, I'm willing to live with that report.
President, I just suggested.
So the 4 countries that have tomahawks are us, the UK, Australia, and the Netherlands. Those are your 4. And you can't fire them without the thing that fires them, and they definitely don't have that.
Yeah.
So Donnie's going around saying that the Iranians tomahawked their own girls' school. They don't have tomahawks. They couldn't have tomahawks. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get back to where we were. Where the hell were we? Okay, Kurds. So step 3, right? Step 3 is arm the Kurds.
Yes, always. And any conflict in the Middle East for your plan C.
Have we thought about giving the Kurds guns? Has anyone thought that through? Okay, so the CIA is working to arm Kurdish forces with the aim of sparking a popular uprising in Iran. Now, this was a fun one for me. I had people in my life who don't do international things asking me who the Kurds were and if we should be giving them guns.
Yeah,
And
but
I
this
had
is
to explain
different.
to them.
This is the Iranian Kurds.
Sure. These are different Kurds.
Well, they are. They're different tribes, and they're different. I don't know. It's not the Iraqi Kurds.
Barzani. Weren't they talking to Barzani?
They might have been talking to him because I don't know if they know who to talk to, and it's not Baluchistan. That's the Arab province.
Sure.
But there's we've tried this. I want to say we've even tried this ruse specifically before. There's been some sort of CIA plot in the 50s or something involving the Kurds in Iran. There's a province.
I think it's a big ask for the Iranians to be ruled by the Kurds. I think that would be a challenging dynamic. If the Kurds rolled into Tehran, I think it would get complicated. That's what I think. So this was an idea for about 24 hours. It was suggested they were already on the ground, and then everybody backed off and said, no, we're not doing that. Anyway, so step 3, arm the Kurds, didn't quite have the legs that it did in Iraq or Syria, for that matter. What was the Huckabee thing? Okay. So as the rockets are falling on Israel, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee, in a memo addressed to U.S. diplomats and local staff and families, said that if the extended time with your spouse results in the birth of your next child in about 9 months, I, of course, expect that you will want to name the little bugger after me. Which one U.S. official described as awkward and odd.
Okay. Super.
So there's Mike Huckabee holding it down in Jerusalem, by the way. Okay. Now, here's the new system. All right, so new Ayatollah, Trump school. Okay, so this was all today. There's been a lot of market fluctuations.
Dude, we live in the dumbest fucking timeline where everything just has to do with fucking prediction markets and tweets that all have something to do with somebody being dead at the end of it. But that's all any of this amounts to is tweets and prediction market outcomes. Maybe OnlyFans videos.
Do you know where the word Kalshi comes from?
Yes, because one of the guys is Egyptian or something. It's Arabic. Yeah, because you can bet on everything. Yeah,
everything. X the everything app. Okay, so this morning, U.S. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright claimed in a now deleted post that the U.S. Navy had successfully escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices had been skyrocketing. After this happened, they went down because people thought we had the oil situation under control. Now, that's an odd thing for the Secretary of Energy to lie about. He said it, then he deleted it. Then, about 2 hours later, we find out that U.S. intelligence assets have begun to see indications that Iran is taking steps to deploy some of its 2,000 to 6,000 naval mines in shipping lanes across the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
So if that information comes out first, before Chris Wright, lies about us escorting a ship to the Strait, maybe the oil market gets very expensive. But the oil market got confused today because there were some lies coming in. So everyone got, oh, we're fine. We're taking the ships through, down. Oh, they're putting mines in, up. Okay, that's exciting. Here's another one. Speaking of mines, we have 4 minesweepers in the Gulf, whatever the term is, mine ships that grab mines.
All right.
They are now in Philadelphia. They got scooped out of the Persian Gulf in January, the only 4 we have, and taken to Philadelphia to be scrapped.
Oops.
That's good to have right now.
Dude, there's you got to think, right? There's enough competent, right, generals and commanders and admirals, whatever, high echelon dudes left. There's got to be some explanation for that. Military, that they're just too old to function or something, or not safe or whatever. Or
sure, I'm sure
I don't
they had
know.
a reason. And I'm sure it wasn't in the books that we were going to start a war with Iran next month.
I have.
Maybe they could try in the event, because they're literally only there because Iran might do this. So just getting back to the, this is our plan, not Israel's plan. Great.
Yeah, I was looking at it. Somebody was talking about when evidently Gaddafi mined the other Gulf. I don't know where. I mean, I guess it would have been in the Mediterranean.
Might be a Gulf there.
Well, no, the port, the Red Sea, Suez. I don't know. Which side of the
Gulf
Suez?
of Aden.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the Gulf of Aden or the Gulf or the Mediterranean, but apparently what's that? Ain. So yeah, but whatever.
Oh, an Ain.
It took a huge concerted effort to clean that mess up.
I think mines are tough.
Yeah.
But I've seen videos of Ukrainian RC boats, I think, tugging mines. Have I seen that? I feel like I saw them. So it's one of those things where I think everyone's dealing with the war from 1995. And because now there's videos, I don't have them, but we're bombing. I think they are laying mines right now. And I think we've blown up 14 mine ships tonight. So anyway, so I'm sure this is all winding down soon. Oh, wait, here's Blumenthal today. After the Iran briefing, I emerged from this briefing dissatisfied and angry, more dissatisfied and angry than, frankly, I have for any past briefings in my 15 years in the Senate. We are on a path toward deploying American troops on the ground in Iran. That was at 12:30. So anyway, there we are. The Iran war, which we definitely were planning. Definitely know what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and it's the only way we're more... It seems like the average American is only any bit more invested in this than Iraq or anything else, is because they're betting on it.
Yeah. It's very unpopular, which is interesting. I mean, the polling is 65 against. Probably because they didn't make a case for it at all. And the other thing is
gas is above $3 again.
Right. And 140 soldiers have been wounded.
Right.
They just said today. And 8 or 10 of them critically wounded. Some of them have had to be evacuated all the way back to the States for medical stuff that couldn't be dealt with at the forward places. So yeah, we have, where is this going? I have no idea where this is going. I thought that he had his off ramp yesterday. He could have said, all right, enough's enough. We whacked him. We're going to walk away. But when Donnie hears people saying things, because he watches TV all day, he just goes, I'm going to go the other way. So if you think I'm done, I'm not done. Because I think he's just in a constant conversation with the television.
Yeah. And there was like an ideological project at work, at least in like the neoliberal project, neocon,
right?
Yeah, the neocons. And they all got together, and some of them were kind of smart, and some of them were pretty dumb, but they were like, all right, here's a plan generally, as opposed to like, whoops, like we're slipping backwards, and now we're gonna. Anyways, I'm like looking at. I'm trying to understand. I'm like, it's just like nothing. I mean, it's unpopular, but I'm reading just local Facebook comments. So I'm like, yeah, how do you get over like the fact that like oil prices suck? And it's like, well, it's because I blame, I quote, blame the Iranian that Biden gave a grant so he could buy a gas stations and hotels, lol. I'm like, I don't know what exactly that means. That's not the syntax of English is lacking.
On the Dave Rubin podcast, yeah.
But like my sentiment analysis is, it's Biden's fault, not Trump's.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't take any time to get the public on board. There isn't a huge appetite for it. Oil going up will crush them in the midterm. And what are we trying to achieve? We don't know. I mean, this is like, I have no idea what he's doing. He's, in the cynical political thing, he's destroying his political.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing, or is he going to find some way to I mean, people are saying we freed 90 million people from oppression, eliminated a threat to the United States, and stuck at the Russia and China at the same time. Am I happy prices are where they are? No, because next week I'm moving my RV 1,000 miles, but I know my grandchildren won't have to live in a nuclear wasteland. Like, I don't know. Yeah, pretty hard to argue with that.
That's a Facebook comment.
Yeah, I'm just read as like, this is, how, your pulse on the street from North Mississippi posts about gas.
Witkoff today, because there's reports that the Russians are giving Iranians targets because they hit a hotel in Dubai or Bahrain that I think was housing CIA personnel, or I don't know. That's what was reported. But Witkoff said that we asked the Russians if they were doing that, and they said no, and we have to take them at their word. And you're like, what is happening? And then the price of oil going up is good for Russia because oil is all Russia has. And then, China will pay more for oil, but we just moved all of our Patriot missiles away from Korea. Not that those are necessarily for China, but they're for North Korea. They're,
they shoot down anything in the air, I think. But yeah,
right. And it's near Japan, and it's Taiwan kind of. So anyway,
dude, when you're winning a war that's only a cult, when it's, I don't know, maybe he figured out that like 90% of it is a culture war, and that like a real war is only happens 10% in the background, and is only gonna. I don't know. Maybe that's his calculus, and maybe he's right, because it seems like if people are on board with you because of fucking having like whatever bravado you do and being an entertainer, then if you feel like you might roll the dice and see if you win a war, like it does feel like a kind of like a risk. You're like, all right, my army, it looks like I got enough kind of armies. I got a couple of dice, roll here, see what happens. It's neutral, see if I keep rolling until I win. And that's what it feels like. But maybe you feel like you might as well, because all that matters is the culture war shit.
Right.
Don't know.
Like there's Iran is in the air, but the coverage of it is, we don't have news anymore. So finding out what is happening, I'm even finding, Twitter is just you can find things, but there is so much nonsense that you have to sift through. When I think back to using it in like 20, or using it in Syria, or even using it in 2022 or Ukraine things.
Yeah, the media landscape is
decimated.
Yeah, because we've taken this thing that like, oh, if you found a video, it was kind of hard to take. And now a video is the cheapest thing and the easiest thing to fake. And so then it's like everything is upside down from where it was in 2011, where, you know.
And you think back to like the promise of social media was Bellingcat and Brown Moses and that whole era. And we were gonna show the truth that they won't show you. But now those OSINT accounts on Twitter,
there's
one of them's an Israeli lunatic.
Why that's at least a real person, as opposed to like 500 bots that Sev realized that somebody realized you put OSINT in the title and you get some sort of cachet from nerds who are like, oh, that means open source intelligence.
100%. And now I've been reading that one of the guys is tight with CENTCOM and maybe so even these things that we thought were like our ticket to bypassing the gatekeepers, have
democratization of information. Yeah, they're just
they've gone direct to those sources, and now they're, the one OSINT with the blue circle, which was on Trump's board at Mar-a-Lago when he got Maduro. It was up on the board. That guy is like, whatever. They're open source things, but he's a clearly pro-Israeli, says quite nasty things about Palestinians and about Gaza, yada, yada, yada. And even the other guy with the shield or whatever seems to be like very pro-CENTCOM. He gets pumped. He's like, we're pounding Tehran right now.
Yeah.
Like, that was not the point of this.
Yeah,
like,
open source intelligence used to mean, meticulous map making and triangulation and blah, blah, blah. And
it used to
now,
be a war
now
of
it's like
whose map was more accurate, and now it's like
I got videos nobody else has, and now and because of that, you have to listen to what I say about politics.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The promise was definitely empty.
Yeah. No, it has really. And then in the process of shifting to social media, we vaporized traditional news. So now there's just not much.
There's no Washington Post Middle East team.
Exactly. I mean, we talk about this, but like there was a Milwaukee Journal Sentinel reporter, I think, in Baghdad. There were like 45 newspapers that had people in Baghdad in 2003. And you're like, there's literally no one in Iran. Not that maybe you could under these circumstances, but Al Jazeera English, which I've been watching a lot, they can get a professor at Tehran University to come on and just say something. And you're like, I would love to hear anything like that. But people, no one here is watching Al Jazeera English, and CNN has a guy in Tel Aviv who's like, look at that. And you're like, okay, this isn't that illuminating. So yeah, it's a grim scene.
It is. What is interesting, I mean, at least from a theoretical perspective, is that like when the people in charge, there's like the people who pull the metaphorical triggers are both a little bit like, well, let's say ideological, to be polite. You've got the Ayatollah who's got his thing, and Trump who's got his own thing.
Totally.
But then the echelon below them, or like at some point there's just a bunch of guys pulling triggers who know about shooting guns. Not to mix the metaphors here. You know what I mean? Like then these things, because it's not like there's some sort of competence at some level far enough down from the decision-making, competence kicks in because these people are hitting targets and fighting a war. But I'm like, curious at what level that sort of shifts between like just like technical competence and like strategic idiocy and annihilationism.
We sank that ship. Did you see this thing? We sank the ship off of Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, we sunk the ship with a torpedo for the first time since World War II. How sick is that? And I was like, I didn't doubt that we could do that. is the point to show that we can do that? It was coming back from a military parade that we were also supposed to be at. They can't carry full munitions because it's like an international military parade. The defense minister of India was like, we feel really bad because we invited them. And on the way back, a lot of them died. And then the other one went into port in Sri Lanka to just hide. But there's this whole like fascination of we are nailing the targets. And you're like, I thought we knew we could do that. So what are we doing? Like, why are we hitting the targets? But there's just Hegseth is like fixated on the professionalism. And I think that's great. I'm sure the American military is very good at being the American military. But why, right? Where is the strategy? When you see Hegseth saying stuff, you're like, I don't know if there is anyone. That guy Kane seems to not be insane, but he doesn't seem to be like saying we shouldn't do this. He's like, I can deliver for you the thing you want. But like, you know, between Trump and Hegseth and then just the guy who delivers it, where is the, you know, you kind of wish there was an evil Donald Rumsfeld who's like been thinking about this for 20 years and is like, I need this and this and this. Like, there's none of that.
And also like, because I was like, well, what are the Iranians like? Imagine the Iranian intelligence dossier on Trump and like them trying to guess his next move. But I was like, at the end of the day, his next move is basically like either like go or don't go, right? Because after that, it doesn't seem like he's interested in negotiating the day-to-day tedium of like a war, right? That seems boring to Trump.
He was golfing this weekend. You know, he was hanging out in Mar-a-Lago and he was golfing and he was keeping an eye on the oil prices and maybe potentially telling Chris Wright to tweet a thing because the oil market's tanking and that's when people get mad at him.
So it's like at the end of the day, all they have to like what they're trying to guess is if he's going to start a war or not, because after that, it's like the same CENTCOM guys, CENTCOM planners that they're red teaming against, you know? So I don't know what that means.
You just have to say like, we're at war with them, not, you know, I heard a thing from Laura Rosen and she said that the last proposal they offered them in Oman, or maybe it was going to be in Geneva or something, the front page in big letters just said the thing the Omani guy said. Yeah. And it was just like 20 words on the page. And it said like, no bomb, no retaining whatever you need to retain to make the bomb. And what people are saying is Kushner and Witkoff just didn't know what that meant. But they tried to like trump it up. And so there was like a 10-page thing, but the top page had 20 words on it. It just said like, we're giving you what you want. But Jared Kushner is a hedge fund manager and Steve Witkoff is a real estate investor from Queens. So maybe they didn't know what the front page meant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
and again, the other thing that kills me too is like to see the people on the left being like, oh, we're fighting a whole war because of the Epstein files. I don't believe that.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. The Epstein files seem to like, for whatever their own reason, have no balls or no repercussions just because nothing seems to really matter anymore. They didn't need to launch
a thing last week about the girl. I mean, there's an accusation that was not verified, but it's incredibly salacious, and that came out last week, and nobody cared. So
nobody already cared. We're not fighting a war to distract against this, you know, the child sex trafficking ring that, you know, everybody else already seems to have been involved with, but also is not going to stand consequences for anyways. So it bothers me to see people bang that drum.
But that's a right-wing thing too. Now there was a video or a meme that was going around, and it was Netanyahu and Trump shaking hands and Epstein up in the clouds, like smiling down on them. And I think it was on the Steve Bannon or Alex Jones or something. And now there was a rumor, I think Carolyn Levitt said Trump might reinstate the draft. And everyone was like, you go and, you know, Kai Trump was at a mall somewhere and people were telling her like, why don't you go get drafted instead of this? That's a right-wing thing. I'm not going to go die for Epstein. You're hearing that on the right too. So
from like the MAGA ambivalent, the Trump ambivalent, right?
the real like non-interventionists, like I think Bannon thinks this is dumb also.
Sure. Okay.
We should not be doing this. So yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, we are in a pickle. Let me just say, this is a pickle. All right. And I wish us well, but this is a real pickle.
I don't know. I gotta say, this Facebook group always fucking depresses me. Somebody comes on to What's Happening in Oxford to ask, they log on to Facebook and says, does anyone know anything about the weather tomorrow? You're logging on. We are so addicted to fucking social media that you log on.
How old is the person? These got to be old people, right? Who's still on Facebook except for really
40s? This person's right in the age where you shouldn't be thinking that the best place to get the weather on the internet is Facebook.
The other thing is people are lonely and sad. That is the other thing.
Well, yeah. This is just the worst place in the world to get it is like the minefield, the local Facebook group.
Are there honest responses?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one
really. There's no like it's 3 inches of snow and like
people. Well, then there's people where we might get like a thunderstorm tomorrow. It's not like crazy. Like people are like, oh, am I gonna have to go to my shelter? But then there's. Then somebody, this is severe weather coming in around lunchtime. First reply, it isn't supposed to be here until between 3 to 6 p.m.
The European model has it coming at 4.
Dude, I think that's just somebody's fucking knee-jerk reaction to have to argue about anything.
So good. Yeah. Anyway, you reading anything good? How was the pension?
Well, first I read Down and Out in Paris and London, which is fantastic. Yeah, which is fantastic.
Okay, I did read that, but I can't really conjure it.
Oh, well, most of the book is about being hungry. Part of it, it's like Kitchen Confidential, but the depression in Paris, working in... So there's kind of a Kitchen Confidential thing, and then there's a thing about tramping, which is like a specific type of like destituteness in England in that period. I don't know how long it lasted, which was kind of interesting, but like they had these places that were kind of like, I don't know, homeless prisons where you got treated like shit, but they give you just enough food to not die and keep you locked up basically overnight for like, I don't know, 11 hours. You'd go in at like 6 and then leave at 10 the next day or longer than that. But they like locked you up in a cell essentially. And then you left and you couldn't stay in the same one for 2 nights in a row. And you couldn't revisit the same one more than like once in a month. So basically there was entire, like literally like vagrant, like circling population of tramps. They were called tramps, who by law, because they basically subsisted on these like prisons, just kept moving from one to the next to the next to the next because they couldn't stay there 2 nights in a row.
Keep tramping. Yeah.
So they created this like weird, useless population of vagrants, basically.
Does this have anything to do? Is it the Penny Dreadful thing where the homeless had to pay a penny to sleep in a coffin?
No, Orwell does talk about that when he ranks like the number of places you could stay in, the cheapest places you could stay in London. And it's like, because you could basically get arrested. There's like one place you could stay, the Embankment, for free. Then like then there was one place that's basically like a bench with like a ribbon tied. And you slept like this on the ribbon, and at 5 a.m, somebody came and cut the ribbon. Everybody fell down and had to leave. And then the coffin was the next one up.
Okay.
Anyways,
I think this is where the phrase "penny dreadful" comes from. Something I might be missing the phrase.
Then there's the
people slept in coffins,
essentially pine boxes.
Yeah, pine boxes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting though. I mean, half the book is just him talking about like what he ate or didn't eat, and it's in some ways kind of repetitive. But the repetition, I guess, is kind of the point. If you're hammering home like what destituteness like looks and feels like, is like, you know. And then we had seven pence, and we spent, you know, 2 of it on an ounce of tobacco and 1 on stale bread, and you know, we had just enough to stay there in that place then for 1 more night or something.
Yeah.
So it's a really good book. Really easy to read.
Homage to Catalonia, I think. And then I did his collected essays one time. In the collected essays, it's got the English language one, which is great. But there's one where like he just goes after Dickens for like 10 pages. And he's like, Dickens wasn't a socialist. He thought rich people's charity could take care of all of us. He didn't have a real political plan. Like he interrogates A Christmas Carol, and he's like, you just expect the wealthy to like, take care of us, and they won't do that. It's enjoyable, but yeah, his writing's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're making an Animal Farm movie with like Chris Pratt as well. It's like it totally devoid of like socio-political meaning. It's literally just
Did you ever watch, there's that cartoon from like the 70s, and I think I watched it in high school. It's like a kind of an old, it looks like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, but it's heavy. And it's like 60 minutes or something. And
dude, it's not,
I remember.
I never saw that.
Okay.
Oh, is this movie out, or it's pre-reviewed very poorly? It makes, what the fuck? None of this makes any sense. Seth Rogen, isn't it? It's directed by Andy Serkis, who is Gollum, like the motion capture actor. Woody Harrelson. They had this cast is stacked, and it's like what you watch the trailer. It's like, what if we did the Animal Farm, but like it's not about anything political. It's just about like animals organized. It's like, you know, what if we made it like a bad Chicken Run?
And by the way, that's because Chicken Run's really good.
I know.
That's why you said a bad Chicken Run. People don't talk about Chicken Run enough.
It's fucking amazing.
Rocky the Rhode Island Rooster. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Because there is a Rhode Island Red is a famous breed of
thing. Yeah. The British chicken who yells at him all the time and blames the Americans for showing up late to all the wars. It's great.
Well, dude, this movie makes no sense. Anyways, I don't think.
So I've been on so I came back early from our visit to Colorado, and then the family got snowed. We got 18 inches of snow, and flights got canceled. So I was home alone for 5 days.
Yeah.
And I watched every World War II Eastern Front film I could find.
Yeah, you're telling me about this.
So I did Tank. I did Generation War. Do we talk about Generation War?
No.
So
we talked about you had watched Tank the night before.
Okay, so Tank was good. Generation War is interesting. Band of Brothers about the Nazis. Interesting. Like some nice liberal Berliners who get thrown into this crazy thing called the Third Reich. One of them is Jewish. One of them becomes a nurse. One of them's an actress who gets taken advantage of by the SS officer, ends up in prison. 2 brothers go to the Eastern Front. Really good war scenes of Kursk, and then the guy gets sent to a labor camp because he kind of deserts. The most anti-Semitic people in the film are Polish partisans who come across the Jewish guy has to pretend he's not Jewish and joins the Polish partisans, and then they don't try to help a train of people headed to, I think, Auschwitz. So I would say the one part of the film is I think that one of those Germans needed to do something bad, and kind of none of them do. But you do get to see some really atrocious, horrible people. And
like nuance to who is doing bad things in the war.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting portrayal, but I was reading some criticism of it, and it was like, I mean, there was a ton of anti-Semitism in Poland, definitely true, but this chose not to even go to a camp or show it. They see a train going to a camp. But it's very well done and very interesting. The Eastern Front, I'm much less familiar with, so it was interesting to see that. Then I watched Gallipoli, which is Band of Brothers, but Australia, not the Mel Gibson movie. They made like a 9-part miniseries, and it's
what? Cool. I'll watch that.
Yeah. I knocked it out in 3 nights, hour-long episodes. Deluded English admirals thinking they're winning, but never getting off their boat. They're drinking tea just offshore.
Yeah.
Bodies are piling up, but they do a really good job. The Turkish side and the Australian side, and the bodies are piling up, so they have to call a truce, and they go up and clear the bodies because everyone's getting sick. But yeah, I mean, Gallipoli takes place in like a 200-yard thing.
You've been there. I remember you telling me you went to Turkey one time. You went to actual.
I remember looking at it and not understanding it, and then the show, you're like, no, it's right.
It's impossible to understand any of those places. You know what I mean? It's just impossible. You could watch the show, you could watch it there and be like looking at it, and still never matches. You know what I mean? Like you go to Gettysburg, it's like a bucolic. It's a beautiful national park. They put up some like fences, and you're like, I guess somebody had to, try and get over it. It's impossible to understand.
Yeah. So I would recommend Gallipoli. Did a good job, I think, bringing the Turkish side into it. Turkish, 80,000 dead. Anzac, and then a few affiliated colonies were like 50,000 maybe. I think I got those numbers right. So more Turks that die. But it's very well done. Amusing English gentlemen not understanding what was happening, and then poor Australian kids just running up hills at machine guns. So yeah, recommend Gallipoli. It's pretty good. And then I'm doing the Gutenberg parenthesis right now. And the big concern when the Gutenberg press came out, the scribes were really worried that they were going to get replaced. And they were.
Yeah.
They're like, this might be the end of us. And then someone like, no way. People prefer handwritten books that take 3 years. And Gutenberg's like, no, make 500 books in the time it takes you to make one.
Who wants to read anyways?
Well,
right. Well, maybe the priests were right in the long run, and we all need some more spiritual.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is people didn't know how to read. So he made this thing that could make books. He died poor because the press takes off 80 years. Like Martin Luther is 80 years after Gutenberg dies. Because there's not enough like people who can read. So you're like, oh, I got all these books, and everyone's like, what's a book?
They couldn't figure out how to monetize it. That's what you're telling me.
If only they had a software as a service company that you could have downloaded to help them.
Yeah, he could have B2B for Gutenberg.
Yeah, Claude would have really helped Gutenberg come up with a plan. Yeah. No, I mean, the parallels are like very interesting to right now. You're like, oh, here's another technology that's like wiping out the old thing.
Yeah.
So
I'll check that out.
Pretty resonant. Yeah. That's good.
Pension, you'll like it because it's about Milwaukee.
Okay, I've been hearing about the Pynchon Milwaukee book. Okay, I should check it out.
It's got a bunch of... his last, I was reading up on this. I've never really tried to... my dad had some Pynchon lying around. I think my dad's probably read all of it, or at least had all the books in my house growing up. And these were always like these phone book sized books. I was like, I literally just have always been familiar with the spines of those books. And Vineland and Mason and Dixon and all this. And this, I guess, and then the last books he wrote were after I was living at home. But the last 2 books he's written have been noir detective type books, Inherent Vice, and then there was another one that I don't know because they didn't make a movie out of it.
Saw the film.
Yeah, Inherent Vice is I don't know, something. It's heady. Yeah,
it's what's his name, right? It's the same guy as One Bad
PTA. Yeah.
PTA. Okay.
But I think Inherent Vice is like a straight up like adaptation, whereas like having read a synopsis of Vineland, it's like spiritually adapted, but there's very much like that's not like the character. There's not even the same characters. There's some that seem to amalgamate into one, but like it's I think he might have got figured out that the way to go isn't to take a Pynchon novel word for word, beat for beat. Yeah, it's not take the spirit. So, anyways, this one, detective noir set in the 30s in Milwaukee, and then it goes to Central Europe, and I'm only in the end of the second act. We'll see. There's a bunch of bowling in it, like, and some not, it's Pynchon, so he's like he doesn't just passingly reference something. He like really gets into. There's a lot about bowling balls. There's a couple passages that really get into bowling ball.
The U.S. Bowling Congress was in Milwaukee for like 100 years and just moved to Kansas City. It was kind of a scandal that it decided to move. But yeah, I was in a bowling league in high school. There's bowling lanes everywhere. Everyone bowls because it's cold and there's nothing to do. It's interesting.
So it's him, and there's like he's investigating the missing daughter of the Al Capone of cheese.
I gotta read this.
Yeah, I mean everything about it is like, dude, it points to you, and it's cool, but it's kind of dialogue driven, like. Almost everything seems to happen as a result of like people talking to each other. And like there's almost no like authorial voice, and it's really like hard. I mean, all of his books like require a lot of concentrating to read, but when the whole plot is happening as a result, like every action is inferred by two people talking to each other, and everybody talks to each other in these like they're like super slick, pulpy style voices.
That's
but
how
also
Vineland was. I read the first chapter and I was like, I don't quite understand what just happened. I need to read it again.
Yeah,
because it's very fun to read, and then like when it's done, you're like, I don't know what just happened. It was fun.
Yeah, this is supposed to. Yeah, I know. You're like, I just read 2 pages with like a couple of like parenthetical like worm rabbit holes and like a bunch of slick talking back and forth. And so, I think in the background, like the takeaway for the plot is somebody is now outside of the building. It's like
a very simple note about what happened.
Yeah, like when you read like an Arabic novel and you only understand like one, you're like, this happened, I think. For reference.
I think that means United Nations. Yeah. Question mark. Yeah.
But it's not bad. I don't think anybody is saying. I think it's funny at parts and interesting. It's getting a little. I might have tried to read too much of it, too much at once.
Yeah.
But you should read it. Let me know what you think. It's probably going to be his last one.
Yeah. How old is he? I've never even seen him. I need to look at him.
He's like famously private.
Okay. Get him on the podcast. Does he have a pod?
No, I don't see.
No Pynchon pod? Hang on, I'm going to grab one thing. I want to show you something.
Yeah. Thomas Pynchon is 88.
All right, so Daniel and I are working on the journal.
Word.
Focus, you dog. Hang on right there. Can you read it? Thief Journal.
Cool.
Yep. We're working on it. This is prototype. We're not quite there, but we got 7 thematically aligned excerpts from classic espionage fiction. We have newspapers from the time. We have little things. Dan is deep.
Cool.
In some holes around labor spies in Pennsylvania in 1915. It's all very, very fun. So yeah, we're trying to compile that. And hopefully we get one done in we're close, maybe a couple of weeks. And I'm able to print it, which was another thing because, who the hell knows. But we're going for an old vintage. They called them the little magazines of the 1910s literary stuff. High quality.
Cool.
Looking good. So yeah, that's what we're working on. Yeah, Dan's working basically 5 days a week for 4 hours right now. So it's great.
Sick.
Yeah.
I had one more. I don't know. We're fostering a dog. I don't think we'll ever foster again. Just for a week, and that dog has killed a chicken.
What kind of dog?
German short-haired pointer. GSP.
I can Google. I can look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. He's 55. He's 55 pounds. I mean, any dog.
It's right in Murph's weight class. Okay, yeah, it's my thing.
Yeah, but he's he managed
rat killers.
No, he's not a terrier. He's bigger than that. We have a terrier.
Okay.
Terrier's like 30 pounds.
We got a hybrid. We got a 50-pound terrier, which is a dangerous personality to put in a 50-pound dog. I'll tell you that much. It's been a lot. He's 13 years in. He's finally calmed down.
Yeah, it's a lot of get up and go to having that kind of a stocky frame.
Yeah,
so
he was a golden retriever. Yeah,
he's he killed a chicken. He's very anxious and tends to run in circles. I mean, he was like, nobody knows what happened for the 8 years before he got into the foster system. He wasn't potty trained. He wasn't house trained or whatever. He
doesn't like pennies. Why? We don't know.
Yeah,
somebody might have thrown pennies at
him. I know it is. One morning we were out doing flower stuff. We came back and he had knocked over the trash can with all the food. He's big enough to get up on cruise the counters, surf the counters. He ate like half a box of like chocolate covered raisins, and I knew enough that chocolate is bad for dogs, and I googled it. Raisins are also bad for dogs.
Yeah.
So we went in and got him. They got him vomiting up his whole system.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
He ate a whole chocolate bar one time, and the only thing was, I guess there's caffeine because it was a dark chocolate bar. And
yeah.
He was just a psycho all night. Like, he didn't sleep. He just like paced the house. Then he took a huge dump the next day. It was fine. So, yeah, you never know.
This dog is I don't know. He's been a whole lot. So
so you give him back to the pound when they find a home, or you just?
No, it's part of a foster network. So we give it back. We're subbing in for like the main. We're a subcontractee on this foster. The main foster wanted to go on a trip and is like, if you guys want him, cheaper than paying for his board, yeah. And like the other dog is just like gets so upset now when this one won't play. So it's introduced more anxiety in her, because normally if we're not playing, she'll just be like, okay. So, but like when this dog is in the room and not interacting with her, then she's all wound up on top of her puppy energy as well. So it's a whole circus. It's been a whole circus over here. He's peed on the floor.
Puppy energy.
Yeah. Well, this dog's 8 years old and
Oh, right.
But the other one's our puppy is a puppy. So it's been fun.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was good.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Good to see you again. We survived the ice storm. We're back at it.
Yeah.
And survived some technical difficulties tonight. We made it. So anyway, we'll see if there's any action this week. We can do it again next week. We'll see.
Cool.
All right, dude.
All right. Say hi to Dan for me.
Will do. See you, James.
Bye.
Hey, buddy. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You don't want to leave.
We'll see you all next time on the Smoke and Hat Podcast.